Have you ever seen a luxury SUV wrapped in 50 layers of industrial-grade plastic? It looked like a massive, shiny leftover sandwich sitting in my driveway. My HOA president, Linda, decided to block my driveway and refused to move, telling me, "I'm the president. I can park wherever I want." Big mistake. She didn't realize I had 20 rolls of heavy-duty pallet wrap sitting in my garage. Stick around to see what happens when Linda tries to get into her perfectly sealed car the next morning. Make sure you subscribe to the channel right now and click the bell icon so you don't miss any future videos. It all began on a Tuesday morning when everything was already going wrong. I was running late for a huge presentation at work. I rushed outside, hit the garage door opener, and froze. I couldn't leave. Parked directly across my entire driveway was Linda's massive white SUV. She wasn't close to the curb. She was perfectly centered, blocking me in completely. I stormed over to her house and pounded on the door. Linda answered holding a glass of wine at 9 in the morning. "Linda, move your car. You're blocking me in and I have to get to work." I said, trying to stay calm. She took a slow sip and smirked. "Relax, Alex. I'm conducting a visual inspection of the neighborhood's curb appeal from my window. My car needs to stay there for official HOA business." I stared at her in disbelief. "Visual inspection? You're inside drinking wine. If you don't move it, I'm calling a tow truck. I warned." She laughed in my face. "Sweetie, I have the towing company on speed dial. They won't touch the president's car. Take an Uber." Then she slammed the door in my face. I had no choice. I took a taxi to work, furious the entire ride. But on the way home, I made a stop at the hardware store. I wasn't going to damage her car. That would be illegal. But I was absolutely going to protect it. When I got home that evening, her SUV was still blocking my driveway. She had left there overnight just to prove a point. Instead of losing my temper, I grabbed the HOA rule book. Linda lived by those rules when it suited her, so I decided to use them too. That's when I found Rule 402, Section C. All vehicles parked outdoors must be kept clean and protected from the elements. Protected from the elements. Message received, Linda. I went into my garage and opened the box I bought earlier. 20 rolls of industrial shrink wrap. This wasn't flimsy kitchen plastic. This was the thick, warehouse-grade stuff used to strap bricks to pallets. Sticky, tough, and impossible to tear by hand. I waited until 2 a.m. The street was completely silent. The only light came from the street lamp reflecting off her windshield. I put on my work gloves and tied the end of the plastic wrap to her rear bumper to anchor it. I glanced at her dark house, whispered, "Safety first," and got to work. There was no turning back. By sunrise, this SUV wasn't going to be a car anymore. It was going to be modern art. Wrapping it was oddly calming. Around and around I went. The first layer was light, just a thin skin. Then I kept going. Over the hood, under the bumpers, across the roof. I wrapped the side mirrors until they folded tightly against the doors. I sealed the windshield wipers so they couldn't lift. My favorite part was the door handles. I pulled the plastic so tight they disappeared completely, flattened and buried. There was nothing to grab, just smooth, slick plastic. By the 15th roll, the SUV didn't even look like a vehicle. It looked like a shiny silver cocoon. You couldn't tell where doors ended and windows began. I kept going until I hit 50 layers. Right before the final wrap, I placed a bright orange note on the driver's window facing outward. It read, "Per HOA Rule 402, vehicle has been protected from the elements. You're welcome, Alex." I sealed the note under the final layer. The car was airtight. Air wasn't getting in, and Linda definitely wasn't either. My arms were sore, but I went to bed smiling. The next morning, I didn't need an alarm clock. Linda's screaming did the job. I poured myself a cup of coffee and watched from the window. Linda stood in my driveway in her bathrobe, staring at the silver blob that used to be her SUV. She looked completely stunned. She mashed the unlock button on her key fob. Click, click. You could hear the faint beep-beep buried deep inside the plastic, but nothing moved. The layers held everything tight. She tried to grab the door handle, but her hands slid right off. She clawed at it with her manicured nails. But industrial wrap is designed to restrain concrete. Her nails had no chance. I stepped outside, sipping my coffee. "Good morning, Linda. The car looks very protected today." She spun around, furious. "What did you do?" "I can't get in." "Just following the rules." I said, "Rule 402. She ran inside and came back with kitchen scissors. But layered plastic turns into something like hard rubber. The scissors bounced right off. She couldn't cut it. She had to pay a professional $200 to come out with box cutters, and it took him an hour to peel it off like a giant banana. And the best part? As soon as the car was free, the tow truck I had called finally arrived and hauled away for still blocking my driveway. Linda has never parked near my house again. If you love this plastic revenge, hit that like button and subscribe.